Hi sewists and aspiring sewists, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's tutorial I'm going to be teaching you how to make this Reglan t-shirt. So if this looks like what you're interested in, then let's dive into the main video. So for this tutorial, these are the basic materials we'll be using. So we're going to be needing this stretchy elastic band for our neckline. We're also going to be needing this material. This is about half of an inch. We're going to be needing it for our sleeve. We're also going to be needing this pure cotton fabric for our t-shirt body. This is also less than 1 yard. This is also the standard measurement to be using for this tutorial. So the first thing I'm going to do now will be to take my body measurement, and I have 11 inches as my body measurement, which came as a result of me dividing my body measurement into 4 pieces. So I'm going to go ahead to mark my 11 inches at different points just to be able to rule out a line for it. Next, after this, I'm going to measure my chest line. So for my chest line, I'm going to be making use of 8 inches. So I'm going to go ahead to mark 8 inches on different points. So once I have these points marked, I'm going to use my ruler to form a straight line across these lines. Next, I'm going to mark my breast line point, which it also serves as my armhole point. And I'm making use of 10 inches for this. So I'm marking 10 inches on different points, and once I have that done, I'm going to form a straight line with my ruler across these lines. Next, I'm going to go in with my sleeve measurement. I have 19 inches here, and I got this 19 inches by measuring my sleeve from the midpoint of my neck at the back. Moving on, I'm going to proceed by marking different points just to highlight my sleeve length point. Next, I'm going to measure my round sleeve. So for my round sleeve measurements, I'm going to be making use of 7 inches. So I'm going to go ahead to mark my 7 inches here, and I'm going to connect my lines together. So now remember that while we were measuring, we measured 10 inches as my armhole point. So from the point of my down sleeve, I'm going to connect my line to meet with the point of my armhole, just as you can see me illustrate right here. After that, I'm going to label what I have here. So I am labeling this as my armhole, which is also serving as my breast line point, which is BL. Next, I'm going to mark my neckline point. So for my neckline width, I'm going to be making use of 2.5 inches as my neckline width. So I'm going to go ahead to mark 2.5 right here. So once I'm done marking that, I'm going to also proceed by measuring 1 inch as my neckline depth for my back neckline, which is what you can see that I'm doing right here. So from that same point, I'm going to come down from my neckline by 3.5 inches, which is going to serve as my front body neckline depth. So I'm going to come here to mark 3.5. Then I'm going to use my French curve to form a curve around this area. Next, I'm going to come down from my neckline point, and I'm going to come down by 1 inch. So from this 1 inch point, I'm going to connect a line towards my armhole point, and this is going to form my Reglan shape. So I'm also going to go ahead to label this line as my armhole line. So from my Reglan sleeve, I'm going to come in by 0.5. I'm going to mark my 0.5 point and also come in by 0.5 on my body. So I'm going to use my French curve to connect these dots together to form a curve around my sleeve and also my body. So after connecting my dots, this is what it looks like. So once I have all of this marked, I'm going to go ahead to cut this piece. So what I have here is a double pattern paper. So the one at the upper part is meant for the front bodies, while the one at the downside is meant for the back bodies. So I'm going to separate them right now. I'm going to label my back bodies as back so that I don't make a mistake while cutting on my fabric. So this is my back bodies, and the other one is my front bodies. You can see the difference in the neckline depth. So I'm going to go ahead to cut out my neckline depth here. Next, I'm also going to cut the 0.5 reduction here, just as you can see me doing this video. Next, I join my sleeve together with a tape, and I'm also going to label it. So this is my back sleeve, while this is my front sleeve. As you can see, we still have a 0.5 reduction on the front sleeve, which is what I'm going to be cutting right away. Next, I'm going to make a reduction at the upper part of my front sleeve to merge with my back sleeve, just as you can see right here. So this is the final look. So after placing my front bodice on my back bodice, you can see the difference of 1 inch on the shoulder line. So this is how I'm going to connect each of them together. And next, I'm going to place my pattern paper on my fabric, and I'm going to cut accordingly, and I'm going to leave about 0.5 inch allowance, which will serve as my seam allowance. So for my neckline band, all I need for the length is 3 inches. So with no further delay, let's get into the sewing process. So for this, I'm going to be starting with my front bodice, and I'm going to be connecting my sleeve with this particular armhole. So mind you, I'm going to be using the shorter part of my sleeve. I'm going to be connecting it with the armhole of my front bodice. Again, for the other sleeve, I'm going to be connecting the shorter part of my sleeve with my armhole for the front bodice, just like I did previously. Next, again, I'm going to connect my back bodice with the longer part of my sleeve, just as you can see me illustrate in this video. And I'm also going to repeat the same thing on the other part of my sleeve as well. So after connecting my sleeves, this is what it looks like. So the next thing I'm going to do now will be to join the side of my t-shirt together. So for this, I'm going to start my sewing from the sleeve area, and I'm going to sew downward. I'm also going to repeat the same process on the other side as well. Now I'm done sewing on both sides, and the next thing I'm going to be doing now will be to attach my neckline band around my neckline. So for this, I'm going to go ahead to measure 6.5 on fold. This is what I'm going to be using as my band measurement for this tutorial. So once I have this measurement done, I'm going to cut what I have here. So now I'm going to go ahead to sew this on my sewing machine. I'm going to join it, just as you can see me illustrate in this video. So once I'm done with this, I'm going to fold my band, just as you can see me do right here. And now, since our band is already having a joining, I'm going to be attaching this joining towards this other joining at the back line, at the back neckline, just as you can see. So I'm going to be starting my sewing from here, and I'm going to stretch my band round to fit into what I have as my neckline circumference. So after sewing, this is what my neckline looks like. So the beauty of this is going to come after we must have ironed this. So now the next thing we are going to do now will be to flip this to the right side. Then we're going to go on with the folding. So I'm going to be folding the downside of my t-shirt, and I'm also going to be folding my sleeve as well. So I'm going to go ahead to do that now. So here is what we have after folding the sleeve and the downside of my t-shirt. So the next thing I'm going to do will be to sew on my neckline band. So you can see that it is not flattened yet. So the best way to finish up my job is to sew on this line of my neckline. So I'm going to be sewing, making a straight line stitch around my neckline. So after sewing, this is what it looks like. I also went ahead to add my piping band across my back neckline. So if you watch this video till this point, this is me saying thank you for always watching my videos. And if you're yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please, what are you waiting for? Please kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.